Welcome to the draft week 1 and week 2. He could go all the way draft video. Um, this year's fantasy football has been, I don't want to say not as exciting, but there's just something missing so far to this point. What is this? There's just something missing to this point. We haven't had really that great performance, I think, that gets us as fantasy footballers excited. In our league, we didn't really have much excitement at the draft other than Doug Martin getting drafted in the second round, which we've all kind of made fun of. But so far through 2 weeks, I think it's been an all right pick. I mean, he hasn't done anything that's really made me say wow, but it's been solid. So a little bit too early for me. Some other notables has been, guys like Brandon Lloyd hasn't really done much. Aaron Rodgers hasn't really done much either. The Saints losing 2 games, maybe not direct fantasy issues, but work email. The Saints losing 2 games, Darren Sproles being down week 1, getting a 2-point conversion really helping his points, and then last week having 13 receptions. A lot of running backs suck. Steven Jackson, Michael Turner, Ryan Matthews hasn't played. But then you have guys like Ben Tate, who as a backup is putting up starter type numbers so far. Marshawn Lynch was up down the first week, up the second week. I think we're really seeing the effects of a keeper league to some teams. I can say that because I feel that my team is greatly affected by the suckiness of having the weaker draft with guys going in the 4th and 5th round and winning our 2nd and 3rd. But I mean that's the way it works when you've won 2 years in a row. I guess a down year is basically a requirement. The shocking thing is the law firm is 0-2, despite being one of the top 3 scorers in the league. I just saw in the power rankings, I think we still had them 4th. So their numbers are winning numbers, but they've just got unlucky. As expected, the Nation of Domination has destroyed the competition. That's what happens when you have 3 of the top keepers and you get Ray Rice. Expect that to continue for them. The only way I could see them really get it knocked off their perch is by big weeks by other teams or an injury to their team. Even then, AJ Green still hasn't been lights out. He's just been solid. But having Ray Rice and McFadden, I'm sure McFadden will get hurt at some point. But you just ride it. You get into the playoffs. You hope he's ready for week 14, 15, 16, and they'll be all set. World's Greatest might actually have a team this year. They got unlucky last week with the tie, even though Twin Peaks did not have a tight end due to complications of the roster. All of his guys played at 1 o'clock, and he couldn't drop anyone other than Antonio Gates. And he was sitting next to me, and I told him, you can't drop Antonio Gates. That's just... it sucks, but he got the tie out of it, ended up tying Mastro with 86 points. Catalina had put up a big week last week, over 150. I'm sure they're a contingency of with Gronk and Newton will continue to do that. Shockingly, Twin Peaks, not really, is 0-1-1. Fred Jackson as your number 1 running back. That's not going to get you anywhere. In the other division, call me maybe, however you want to say it, with Marquise Colston. They're feeling the effects this week to the extent of losing Hakeem and Ahmad Bradshaw, just like Bob had planned. Nice pickup with Brown. So, we'll see. They're right now, I would say, the early favorites in that division. I think right behind them, it's a surprise again, is the Octagon. They snuck out a week 1 against the defending champ, and then they lost last week, but to be 1-1 and already have as many wins as you did all of last year, that's a huge accomplishment. I think Matthew Stafford hasn't been perfect. I think the fantasy top players really need to, come about soon, or else we could see some trades. I don't know. You guys are all babies and don't like to make trades. The Thundering Herd, they're 1-1 as well. Not really much to say about them. Got a contingency of mediocre running backs who have been good. Martellus Bennett has been a pretty decent tight end pickup. We'll see if he keeps it up the whole year. My team, Swagger Jagger, sucks. They're probably overall, I would say, the worst team in the league. Um, player for player. I mean, I've started Curtis Brinkley and Ronnie Brown as my number 2 running back. And last week, actually, I think Brinkley ended up being my number 1 running back over Turner. Michael Turner sucks. And I just lost Aaron Hernandez. So my team's done. Looking for trades. And then Bros, their team hasn't really turned it on. That kind of happens when you have 2 quarterbacks that should be starting in Vic and Brady. I try to trade one of them right now. Either one, and I try to get someone who's a potential keeper for next year, maybe to a team that, has mediocre QB, or at least a QB that's struggling. Maybe they'll take the chance, but who knows? And that's really it. I mean, up to this point, I think the law firm will probably bounce back and be somewhere in the 8-5 range is my prediction. The Twin Peaks, I think they're going to be this year's Octagon. I think they're just going to hit a lot of injuries. I don't think they'll ever really click. Overvaluing their players will hurt them in some trades. Victor Cruz is no longer a top 2 wide receiver. He's, that team's got 4 or 5 wide receivers now, so you should have traded him when you had the chance. But I think you'll see his value continue to slide. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but and Steve Smith is always injured, and Cam Newton's too erratic. So I don't really know what's going on there. Catalina, they should just got to stand pat. I could see them, being the 1 or 2 team in that division. Probably the 2 or 3, the more I think about it, because no one's going to upseed the nation. And World's Greatest, he'll probably be right in that. I think that's a 4-team race in that division already to this point. The only way I can see Twin Peaks making it a 5-team race would be to do something drastic and get lucky. I think those 2 things, you really got to play the waiver wire. You got to, I don't know. And in Tom Budgeon's division, we were just in Giselle Brady's. The Tom Budgeon division, again, I think I'd have to say right now, Comey maybe is probably the heavy favorite. If the Octagon continues the way they're going, I think you'd have to fit them and Thundering Herd in that 2 spot, 2 and 3. And I think you've got Bros and Swagger fighting out for the 4th and 5th. I think Bros before Shankos. I think they have a better chance to sneak into the playoffs over Swagger Jagger. But you never know. I mean, I don't really see a lot of tradable pieces for a lot of teams because I think everyone values. I think right now a lot of guys are overvalued. And I think some of the younger up and comers are being overvalued. Well, some of the top guys are really overvalued. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't think it does. So going forward, I mean, you'll see the power rankings every week. That's my mathematical formula. As you can see, it kind of works. I was shocked when I typed in all the numbers. I'm going to it on my other screen over there. You can see that it put the law firm 4. An 0-2 team is number 4 in our power rankings because they're the 2nd highest scoring team, and they face the most points against. So right there, that proves that the formula works. And Twin Peaks, they're in dead last because they suck. I mean, they don't have many players that I'd be like, woo, I want, etc. I'm sure it's coming soon. You'll see the law firm start to try to trade away Jonathan Stewart. And, guys that no one really wants but kind of wants but probably would never start. 4 starters, probably keepers. And then the last thing I want to address would be trading draft picks. I've got a lot of questions about trading draft picks. Trading draft picks is okay for the future year. You can do it, but it's going to take a lot to get it approved. You can't just say Arian Foster for a first-round pick, and you can't just have one team with like 3 or 4 first-round picks in the upcoming draft next year. You'd probably need to make something work where a top 1 pick going is probably valued in our league as like a late first, early second, round pick. But they're also really the way to make the draft picks work. Trading, I'll tell you right now, is to throw a pick from you and a pick from them in the same deal. So if you're going Arian Foster for a first, make the other guy throw in a third and you throw in a second, or make the other person throw in a player and you throw in a second. So it's Arian Foster in a second for a player in a first, and you'll be more likely to get that deal approved quicker. Other than that, we'll see you in a couple weeks. I don't. I've been trying to come up with like something different to bring to the league that this year that we haven't had in the past. But as of right now, there's nothing. There's nothing really doing. We'll see. I hope the excitement picks it up. I mean, we've got hot division races. Everyone's 1-1 in one division. Everyone else, except for Twin Peaks, really is alive in that other division. I think, like I said, so. Well, have a good day. I hope you watch the video and look forward to losing to all of you guys in the coming weeks. Peace.